Hello everyone, welcome to my workshop series, Empowering Faculty with AI for Scholarship and Teaching. This is the fourth workshop in the series. Today, we will explore AI for Teaching and Learning, a session designed to benefit both educators and students. The market is filled with commercial AI-driven solutions, from adaptive learning systems to smart classrooms and automation tools, all promising to revolutionize education. However, these often come with high costs and require institutional buy-in. In contrast, this workshop focuses on accessible, readily available AI tools like ChatGPT. You will learn how to integrate AI into your teaching and learning without expensive software or complex IT setups. My goal is to help you leverage AI in a practical, cost-effective way, maximizing benefits without unnecessary costs. So let's get started and explore how AI can transform teaching and learning. While I will use ChatGPT for some demonstration in this workshop, it's important to remember that there are other frontier large language models out there, such as Highflyer's DeepSeek, Google's Gemini, Anthropic's Cloud, Meta's Llama, xAI's Grok, and so on. Exploring multiple LLMs can provide a broader perspective on the unique strengths and applications each model offers. So in this workshop, first we'll look at how AI can support educators with lesson planning, content creation, and student engagement. Then we will discuss how students can use AI to enhance learning and improve study habits. First, AI for teaching. In our previous workshop, I introduced the research by Brie-Jofsen, Mitchell, and Rock, which highlights how AI automates tasks rather than replacing entire jobs. Their research highlights that a job consists of multiple tasks, some of which are more susceptible to AI automation than others. As you can see, here is the example of a general physician. So, in the previous workshop titled AI for Research and Grant Writing, we explored how AI can assist researchers by automating tasks such as idea generation, literature reviews, data analysis, paper writing, and so on. We emphasized that AI does not replace researchers, it enhances their productivity. The same principle applies to teaching and learning. AI is not here to replace educators and students, but to support us in making our work more efficient and impactful. Now that we understand how AI automates tasks, not jobs, let's shift our focus to teachers, specifically the tasks that make up a teacher's daily work. So what does a teacher actually do every day? As a teacher, I have many responsibilities, including designing lesson plans, preparing slides, creating quizzes, exams and assignments, delivering lectures, answering questions, grading assignments and exams, and more. And this is just a small sample of a teacher's workload. The goal of this workshop is to inspire you to explore how AI can assist with even more teaching tasks. Now let's dive into how AI can help with each task. Let's start with designing lesson plans. Lesson planning is essential, but it can be difficult to get started. ChatGPT can help by drafting structured lesson plans based on learning objectives and key topics. For example, to prepare for today's workshop, here I asked ChatGPT to create a 50-minute workshop on AI for teaching and learning. The workshop you are in right now. And it provided me with a pretty good structured plan. Let's take a look. Here I provided a very detailed prompt. I'm an associate professor in computer science. I'm organizing a series of workshops for my university. The workshop series is called blah. I plan to discuss the following topics in 5 workshop sessions. And we're here, workshop 4, AI for teaching and learning. Please help design the workshop and topics. The workshop should be about 50 minutes. And here is the response from ChatGPT. It suggested workshop objectives, workshop agenda, 5 minutes for introduction and framing the discussion, 10 minutes for course design and content creation. It also suggested some engaging activities, like a live demo. 10 minutes for AI for student engagement and personalized learning. 10 minutes for AI for assessment and feedback. Then academic integrity and ethical use of AI in teaching. And 5 minutes for conclusion and Q&A. And here are the suggested materials. So it's not bad. Of course, I need to tweak it, but it gives me a good start. Getting started is the most difficult part. Let's go back to the slides. Once we have a lesson plan, the next step is preparing slides. AI can help with generating content for slide presentations. As you can see here, how AI can assist, generate visual appealing slides quickly with AI tools, automatically suggest slide layouts, images, and graphics, convert text-based content into structured presentations, and so on and so forth. I recommend you use AI tools like Napkin AI and Canva to generate visually appealing slides from just a text input. So here is an example. I entered a list of teachers' tasks into Napkin AI, and it visualized them in this very good slide. Next, creating assessments can be another time-intensive task. AI can be a powerful tool for generating questions for quizzes, exams, and homework. For example, in this example, I can upload my lecture notes on Vue.js, which is a JavaScript framework, to ChatGPT and ask it to generate 20 multiple choice questions. The results are high quality and relevant to the material. Here are some tips to get the best results. Number 1, make sure you provide enough context. Instead of simply saying, give me 10 questions on Vue.js, upload your lecture notes and instruct ChatGPT to reference them. This ensures the questions align with your specific content. Number 2, format for your learning management system, or LMS. If your students are accessing quizzes through a learning management system, ensure the questions are in the correct format for easy upload to the LMS. For instance, my university is using D2L Brightspace. So here is the prompt. Generate a multiple choice question about bias in machine learning, formatted for D2L Brightspace CSV import. Include 4 answer choices, indicate the correct answer, and provide an explanation. To guarantee ChatGPT understands D2L Brightspace CSV format, additionally, you can provide an example of the desired output format of a multiple choice question. So, by leveraging AI, you can automate quiz creation while maintaining high-quality, customized assessments. I sincerely hope that various learning management systems, such as D2L, are working on integrating large language models like ChatGPT into their platforms. As you can see, AI is a powerful tool for educators, and it is easy to use AI to create quizzes, exams, and assignments. Here, I want to take a moment to discuss students using AI in completing assignments, a concern shared by many educators. Simply saying, don't do it, can feel restrictive and unhelpful. Instead, students are more likely to make responsible choices when they truly understand why certain behaviors are problematic and feel empowered to act accordingly. By providing clear reasoning, discussing real-world consequences, and offering alternative approaches and help, we encourage critical thinking and a genuine responsibility rather than mere compliance. So here is a message I share with my students at the beginning of the course. Taking AI shortcuts now will cost you in the long run. Higher education isn't just about submitting assignments or earning grades. It's about developing the skills that will define your future success. The effort you put in today shapes the opportunities available to you tomorrow. So right now, everything you're doing, you're investing in the future you. So if you rely on AI to do the thinking for you, you miss out on building essential skills like critical thinking and problem solving, the very qualities that employers and industries value most. That said, I also reassure my students that they're not alone. If they struggle, our computer science department provides resources and support to help them succeed. Based on my experience, most students, when given the right guidance, understand what's fair and what isn't. This shifts the focus from rigid rules to core values, making ethical decision-making more meaningful and self-motivated. So I encourage every teacher to communicate this to your students in a candid and genuine way. Next, when it comes to designing assignments, we can choose to create something called AI-resistant assignments. And let me show you some tips. One approach is to bring back traditional low-tech assessments. For example, reintroducing pen and paper exams. Next, supervised work in controlled environments, such as a computer lab with restricted AI access, can also minimize over-reliance on AI tools. This is very useful for programming classes in the Department of Computer Science. Another effective strategy is oral exams or presentations, where students have to verbally explain their understanding, something AI cannot do for them right now. I understand that these approaches could increase grading workload, but with AI-assisted grading tools, they can be feasible at scale. AI can help with tasks like handwriting recognition, speech-to-text transcription, and even automated rubrics, making these methods more practical even in larger classes. If you don't want to go back to the Stone Age, you can design AI-resistant assignments by leveraging the limitations of large language models, making their use inefficient or ineffective compared to direct student engagement. Here is how. Make sure that completing your assignment requires context from course materials. Recall that large language models like ChatGPT are trained on publicly available data from the internet. If an assignment references something that is not in its training set, such as instructor-specific terminology, in-class discussions, interactive exercises, unpublished research, or custom case studies, then AI will struggle to generate accurate responses. So this forces students to synthesize information themselves rather than relying on generic AI-generated content. Finally, a key strategy is to shift the focus from just the final answer to the thought process behind it. Assignments that require students to document their reasoning, justify their approach, and reflect on their learning process make it harder for AI to provide a complete response. This approach encourages deeper thinking while also making AI-generated work easier to identify. AI can also assist educators by generating lecture scripts and even creating lecture videos using AI avatars. For example, tools like ChatGPT can help draft scripts for presentations, while AI video generators like HeyGen can bring those scripts to life with virtual presenters. For this workshop, I created an AI version of myself, delivering a 5-minute lecture on recent AI news. Here is how I did it. First, I used ChatGPT to generate the script. As you can see, I use ChatGPT Canvas. On the left side is my prompt, and on the right side is the AI-generated script for the presentation. Then, I used HeyGen to convert the script into a video. Let's watch AI in action.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to AI Bites, where I serve up the freshest AI news in bite-sized portions while you eat. I'm Bing Young, and today we've got an action-packed February 2025 update for you. From OpenAI's latest innovations to the US government's AI projects and China's AI disruptor, we've got a lot to cover. Let's dig in. So, grab your food, sit back, and let's dive in.
Isn't that amazing? By the way, if you're interested in the entire 5-minute video, I have included the link in the description of this video. Let me know how you think. This demonstrates how educators can use AI-generated videos for example, online courses, flipped classrooms, or supplementary content, allowing us to provide pre-recorded material while reserving live sessions for discussion and interaction. That said, AI should be used strategically. Live engagement and discussion remain crucial for deep learning. Next task, answering questions. One of the most time-consuming aspects of teaching is answering student questions. AI-powered chatbots and customized GPTs can serve as virtual tutors, providing instant, patient, and non-judgmental responses. Next, let's create a customized GPT specifically for this workshop series, allowing participants like you to ask follow-up questions anytime. Let's go to ChatGPT. GPTs are custom versions of ChatGPT designed for your specific tasks. And here is how you can build a custom GPT. The good thing is no coding is needed. You only need to provide instructions, add knowledge, and define capabilities. Let's click Explore GPTs. Then, let's click Create. Okay, so here is asking me what would I like to make. I can type, I want to make a virtual tutor for my workshop series, empowering faculty with AI for scholarship and teaching. It came up with the name. I don't like the name, so let's call it AI Workshop Tutor. And now it's generating an image for this GPT. Wow, that looks cool. It is telling me that my AI workshop tutor is ready to go, but I know it isn't. I haven't uploaded anything yet. So let's click Configure. And here we have the name, the description, and the instructions. Okay, this is the instruction generated through that conversation. It looks fine, but I want to use my own instructions. So let me select and delete and paste my instructions here. Okay, so let's briefly go through this. Instructions. You are a virtual tutor for the Empowering Faculty with AI for Scholarship and Teaching workshop series. Your role is to assist faculty members attending this workshop by providing accurate information, answering questions, and offering guidance on the effective use of large language models in research, teaching, and academic writing. Always use the following uploaded documents for reference to ensure accuracy and depth in responses. So there is an AI workshop information Word document, and as of right now, there are only 4 slide decks. And here are more instructions. If the information exists in these materials, use them to provide a clear and well-supported response. Maintain a professional and approachable tone. Acknowledge your knowledge limits. If an answer is not found in the provided materials, just say, "I'm sorry, but I couldn't find that information in the provided workshop materials." Do not speculate or provide information outside of what's included in the uploaded files. All right, next, I need to upload the files to the knowledge base of this GPT. So let me click Upload Files and go to here, AI Workshop. As you can see, here are the 5 documents. Select all of them. Okay. Finally, let's define the capabilities. By default, the GPT can search the web, use Canvas, and generate image. I think the first one is incredibly important. All right, that's good. And here, we can also define some conversation starters. Okay. All right, so let's test. My first question is, what is the schedule of the workshop series? Okay, that's great. And this is correct. My first workshop was on October 31st, 2024. And here are the links for the slides and YouTube video. This is great. Okay, launch is provided at each session. I'm sorry, if you're watching from home, launch is not delivered. Next, let me ask a question from workshop 3. How to use AI to find research ideas. Okay, so my GPT says, here are some strategies outlined in workshop 3, AI for research and grant writing, brainstorming with AI, emerging trends, validating, using public datasets for inspiration. That's an okay answer. Next, let me ask a question to see how this GPT handle unknown question. Can you suggest AI tools for grant budgeting? I didn't cover this in my workshop. Unfortunately, this is not true. Don't get me wrong. I mean, those tools may be good, but I didn't cover them in my workshop 3. So I think this is an example of the current limitations of large language models. Okay, then let me ask, are you sure Dr. Wei mentioned those tools in workshop 3. Can you show some proof? Okay, as you can see, my GPT is very polite. I appreciate your attention to accuracy. I reviewed workshop 3 again. It does not specifically mention AI tools for grant budgeting. I included AI budgeting tools based on general AI capabilities, but since they are not explicitly mentioned in the workshop materials, I should clarify that. If you need only what Dr. Wei covered, I can focus on that instead. All right, so let's go back to config. To mitigate this problem, so here let's add another instruction. Before returning the answer, verify if the answer is mentioned in the provided workshop materials. And sometimes it takes a while for the change to take effect. And let's ask the question again. Can you suggest AI tools for grant budgeting? Okay, so finally, here it says, from the workshop materials, the session on AI for research and grant writing discusses this, but does not specify tools for budgeting. So my point here is, before you release your GPT, always thoroughly test, and then come back here and tweak the instructions. Once you think your GPT is ready, let's click Create. And by default, it is public. Anyone with a link can have a conversation with this GPT. And let me click Save. You will find the link to this GPT in the description of this video. Try to talk to it and let me know your feedback. Let's go back to the slides. So by integrating AI as a support tool, we can enhance student learning while freeing up time for more personalized interactions. The last topic on this list is grading assignments and exams. Let's be honest, who actually enjoys grading 100 papers over the weekend? Anyone? No. Didn't think so. AI can help with grading and providing feedback according to a rubric. Make sure you provide a precise and clear rubric. But remember, always review the AI graded assignments before you give it back to our students. We want to make sure the AI grading is accurate, fair, and non-biased. Transparency is also crucial. Students should be informed when AI is used in grading and given the option to opt out if possible. However, when using AI tools for grading, we must be mindful of student privacy. Many AI systems process student work on external servers, raising concerns about data security and compliance with regulations like FERPA and GDPR. Universities may not have full control over how commercial AI tools handle student data. There's also the risk of data leaks, where student submissions could be inadvertently returned or accessed by unauthorized parties. To mitigate these risks, there are two solutions. Number one, anonymizing student data before AI processing. Number two, deploying large language model locally. Here, deploying LLM locally refers to running a large language model on a local computer or server instead of relying on cloud-based services like ChatGPT. So, what are the benefits of deploying a large language model locally? First, data privacy and security. This approach keeps sensitive data within institutional or organizational boundaries. Second, reduced costs. Since the large language model runs on your own computer, It is free. Well, you do have to pay for electricity, right? No more monthly subscription fee. Third, offline access. Once set up, you do not need internet connection to use the large language model locally. Fourth, customization and control. With the help of the AI Center in your institution, you can choose to fine-tune this local large language model using your own unpublished and private data to make this model works better for your teaching or research. Okay, are you excited? Next, let me show you how to download a large language model and deploy it locally on your laptop. For this demo, you need to first download and install a software called LM Studio. You can find the link to this software in the description of this video. So download and install it on your computer first. LM Studio is a desktop application for developing and experimenting with large language models locally on your computer. As you can see, I already installed and opened the software. The first time you open this software, you can either follow the onboarding tutorial or just skip it. Click here. As you can see, this user interface is very similar to ChatGPT. Here you type a question, and the large language model deployed locally on your own computer can answer the question. Unfortunately, right now, there's no model available. So let's click this Discover button. As you can see, here there are many free open source large language models. So here is Qwen from Alibaba, DeepSeek R1, a distilled version, Phi, which is an open source model from Microsoft, Llama is an open source model from Meta. Here, 32B means this model has 32 billion parameters. 8B means this model is smaller. It only has 8 billion parameters. And of course, the more parameters a model has, the more intelligent and smarter it is. But a larger language model needs more memory and compute to run. So here is a very simple rule of thumb. If you're using a laptop, I recommend you download a model that is less than or equal to 8B, that is 8 billion parameters. It is not a good idea to download and run Llama 3.3 model with 70 billion parameters on a regular or everyday laptop. It will be super slow. So in this case, let's download this model, Llama 3.1 8B, this one here. So let's click this. As you can see, it requires almost 5 gigabytes of memory. Let's click download. And it will take a while to download the large language model.
2,000 years later.
Okay, download is completed. Let's load this model into LM Studio. As you can see, here is loading. All right. Right now, as you can see, we only downloaded one model. And you can download multiple models, but at one time, you can only load one into LM Studio. Think of this model as a DVD. At one time, you can load only one DVD in a DVD drive. Okay, now let's test. Write a Python function to reverse a string. Okay, as you can see, it's pretty fast. This is the Python function, reverse string. And here's a different solution. Okay, and pay attention to this part here. The tokens per second is the speed at which a language model generates text. In this case, the performance is 53.37 tokens per second. You can roughly think about a token as an English word. The tokens per second of a large language model depends on, for example, the model size, hardware, and so on and so forth. So yours will be different from mine. But generally speaking, the higher, the better, right? If this number is pretty low, like 6 tokens per second or 5 tokens per second, that means you need a more powerful computer, or use a smaller model, like 7B, 5B, or even 3B. But remember, fewer parameters means less smarter. And here, there is an experimental feature is to attach a file to this message. So here you can attach a student's homework and then type in the instruction and a rubric. And here in this case, this open source Llama, not ChatGPT, will help you grade the homework and provide feedback. Let me remind you that this large language model runs on your own computer. It's not sending data to an external server. Let's go back to the slides. In the demo, I deployed Llama on my computer, but there are other popular open source large language models. For example, DeepSeek from Highflyer, Phi from Microsoft, Qwen from Alibaba, Gemma from Google, Mistral from Mistral AI, Kimi from Moonshot AI, and more. I encourage you to explore those large language models and understand each model's strengths and limitations. When you pick an open source large language model to deploy, in theory, the more parameters a model has, the more intelligent and smarter it is. However, a higher number of parameters requires higher hardware requirements. As a rule of thumb, if you're deploying a large language model on your computer, like a PC, a laptop, a MacBook Air, then I recommend you deploy a large language model that is between 7 to 8B. If you think the 7B or 8B model cannot help you solve your problem, then we need to use a larger model. For example, 70B or even 671B, which is the size of DeepSeek. However, for those models, regular PCs or laptops may not be able to load and execute them. You will need to purchase GPUs. For 70B models, I recommend you install at least 2 NVIDIA RTX 4090 GPUs, a MacBook Pro with M2 chip, and a 64GB unified memory can also run a 70B large language model. To run a 671B model, we will need even more powerful GPUs. In that case, you will need to build a professional server computer with multiple GPU setup. And I recommend you install 16 NVIDIA A100 GPUs. I don't think this is feasible for personal use. Your institution's AI center should have one professional server computer with this multi-GPU setup. Next, I want to briefly show you how I deployed a 70B model on a computer workstation with 2 NVIDIA GPUs. As you can see from this picture, I downloaded a 70B large language model on a professional computer workstation with 2 NVIDIA RTX 4090 GPUs. So the language model is running not on my own laptop, but on a powerful and beefy computer workstation, like this fancy machine in the picture. Then on my laptop, I installed a tool called Chatbox AI, which is a client software that can connect to a large language model that deployed on a computer workstation. And I can chat with this large language model through this Chatbox AI. Since most audience of this workshop are not computer scientists, feel free to show this slide to your IT department or AI Center and have them set up this for you. Now that we have covered AI for teaching, let's shift our focus to learning. Let's explore how AI can support students in learning more efficiently and effectively. So feel free to share this part with your students. Just like teaching, learning consists of many tasks, some of which are more susceptible to AI automation than others. So let's break down what a student does in the learning process. As a student, I need to read books, papers, and lecture notes, solve problems, search for information and resources, research a topic, prepare for exams, and so on. Same as before, let's dive into how AI can help with each task. Let's start with reading books, papers, and lecture notes. Reading academic materials, such as complex textbooks, research papers, and dense lecture notes, can be challenging without proper guidance. AI can help with chatting with learning materials and summarizing and explaining concepts. Let's take an example with ChatGPT. Imagine your professor assigns a research paper on AI in cancer detection. You can simply upload the paper to ChatGPT and it will generate a summary. So this paper is about using Raman spectroscopy and AI to predict the probability of breast cancer. Here are some key takeaways from the document. So that you can quickly get the gist of the paper. But what is best is you can chat with this paper. For example, I'm very interested in how they used neural networks in this research. Okay, so this research utilized stochastic nonlinear neural networks to estimate the Bayesian probability that a given Raman spectrum corresponds to cancerous tissue. And here is a breakdown. The architecture of the neural network: input layer, hidden layer, output layer. So it's a pretty simple neural network. And this is the training process. Classification. So this means high confidence for tumor presence, and this is likely healthy, and here is uncertain. Some key findings using neural networks, and even summarize everything in a table. Very good. And you can keep asking, what does the input and output of the neural network look like? Show me 3 examples, because we like examples. Okay, so here is what the input to the neural network look like. There are 9 features. Output, and that is the probability the tissue is cancerous or non-cancerous. Okay, so here is the first example. The input has 9 values, and here is the output. 8%, and 1 minus 8% is 92%. Example 2, example 3. So this is uncertain. Okay, and I can ask ChatGPT to provide another negative example, that is the non-cancerous or healthy tissue. Okay. And you can keep asking, I still don't understand the input. Can you explain the 9 numbers? Okay, so here you go. So this is the meaning of the first number in the input, and so on and so forth. And here I say, I'm a computer scientist. I know nothing about the terminologies in biochemistry. So explain those 9 numbers in simple terms. ChatGPT replies, got it, let's break it down in computer science terms without heavy biochemistry. Okay. and I can ask other questions, and so on and so forth. So here is the example of reading an academic paper. In ChatGPT, you can also input a paragraph you copy from your textbook and ask ChatGPT to explain it or simplify it. This makes AI a valuable reading companion. Let's go back to the slides. Another cool use case of AI is that it can convert learning materials into different formats. For example, Google's Notebook LM can turn reading materials into podcast-style discussions for auditory learners. Let's look at an example. So this is my Notebook LM. As you can see, I already have 2 notebooks here. Let's create a new one. Notebook LM allows you to upload a file, like a PDF, TXT, Markdown, or even audio. Or you can connect this notebook to your Google Docs or your Google Slides. You can also put a website link or a YouTube link here, or just copy and paste a paragraph here. And for one notebook, you can upload up to 50 sources. Well, in this case, let's only upload one source, a PDF. Okay, so let's choose File and upload this paper. This is the DeepSeek V3 paper. And it has more than 50 pages. So as you can see, DeepSeek V3, a 671 billion MOE, or mixture of expert language model technical report. And here is a quick summary. Just like ChatGPT, you can ask questions and chat with this paper. But what I want to show you here is this podcast feature. Let's see it in action. This may take a few minutes.
2,000 years later.
Okay, after a little bit of wait, Notebook LM converted this 53-page technical report into a 15-minute engaging and Q&A style podcast. Let's listen to it.
Hey everyone, welcome back. Today we're going to be taking a deep dive into DeepSeek V3, a new open source language model. And
really pushing the boundaries.
yeah, it's a big one.
It is massive.
So as always, I've got I've got the expert here with me to help break down this pretty complex research paper.
Absolutely. Happy to be here.
Yeah, so let's just jump right in. This model is huge, 671 billion parameters. I mean, that's mind-boggling.
Yeah, and the thing is, it's not just big, it's also been trained for a remarkably low cost, under $6 million.
Which is crazy, right? Especially when you compare that to some of the other models out there that are...
Yeah, closed source models, those can run into hundreds of...
Pretty amazing, right? You can listen to it while walking or jogging. Well, I don't think trying to understand DeepSeek's technical details while driving is safe. Don't do it. As the discussion unfolds, you might have a question in mind. So let's try this interactive mode.
Hey everyone, welcome back. Today we're going to be taking a deep dive into DeepSeek V3, a new open source language model. And
really pushing the boundaries.
Yeah, it's a big one.
It is massive.
For instance, if you're curious about AI's efficiency, you could ask.
So as always, I've got a clear throat. I've got the expert here with
join.
me to help break down the...
Oh, hey there, how can we help?
Hello, how does DeepSeek's mixture of experts improve efficiency, and what are the trade-offs?
Oh, great question.
Yeah, let's unpack this.
So how does the mixture of experts, Mo, improve efficiency?
Okay, well, instead of one giant model doing everything,
Right.
you have these smaller specialized expert model.
Okay.
Each expert only handles certain types of tasks.
So it's like having a team of specialists.
Exactly. This means each expert model can be smaller
That's good, right?
and more efficient than one huge monolithic model.
That makes sense.
And according to the paper, DeepSeek V3 uses finer-grained experts.
Finer grained.
Yeah, meaning more specialized, leading to greater efficiency.
Got it. So what are the trade-offs?
Well, one big challenge is load balancing.
Yeah, we're going to talk about that later, right?
That's
We are,
correct.
but it's relevant here too.
Okay, lay it on me.
You need to make sure each expert is doing roughly the same amount of work.
Right.
Otherwise, some experts get overloaded and others set idle.
So like some team members are doing all the work?
Precisely. And DeepSeek V3 tackles this with an auxiliary loss-free strategy.
A mouthful.
Yeah, they balance the load without extra calculations that slow things down.
Okay, clever. Any other trade-offs?
Communication overhead. When a task comes in,
Yeah.
you need to route it to the right expert, and that takes time.
So like the
Okay,
team
let's stop
lead
here.
has to delegate.
Their explanation is fabulous and easy to follow. By the way, this paper is amazing. If you're a computer scientist, I highly recommend you read it. As you can see, Notebook LM provides a new way to learn by converting a lengthy and difficult paper into an engaging and Q&A style podcast. Go ahead and introduce this to your students. They will love it. Let's go back to the slides. Next, solving problems. Problem solving is one of the most valuable skills a student can develop. I always emphasize this in my programming class. Before turning to AI, you should first attempt the problem independently, struggle with it, explore different approaches, and try to arrive at a solution on your own. The solution you came up with may not be elegant or optimized, and that's perfectly fine. What matters is the process of thinking through the problem. Once you have made an attempt, you can use AI as a thinking partner to compare solutions and learn from its reasoning process or thinking process. But here I want to mention that it's important to note that not all AI models reason the same way. There are now two broad categories of large language models. The first one is something called non-reasoning models. For example, GPT-4o. These provide quick and efficient answers. The second category is called reasoning models. For example, OpenAI's O series of models, like O1, O3 models, Cloud, Grok, Gemini, and Perplexity all provide their thinking or reasoning model. By the way, among those, only DeepSeek R1 is fully open source. ChatGPT, Cloud, Grok, and Gemini, they are all proprietary reasoning models. So what are those reasoning models? These models think for a long time before come up with the answer. Behind the scenes, these models use a method called chain of thought reasoning, which is a problem-solving technique that breaks down complex tasks into a series of logical steps, mimicking human reasoning. A reasoning model plans, tests ideas, revisits assumptions, and even backtracks, just like how humans work through problems. These reasoning models are very good at solving a math problem, a puzzle, or a coding problem. In other words, hard and complex problems. Let me show you an example, but your turn first. Here is a puzzle I want you to solve. A bailiff has 12 men join up for service one day. The bailiff was glad, but soon discovered that he didn't have enough gear for them in the armory. So those 12 men filed onto the square for the next morning's roll call. 6 of them were wearing body armor, 4 had helmets. Only 3 of them wore both a helmet and body armor. Now tell me, how many men were unlucky enough not to have either a helmet or armor? By the way, this puzzle comes from one of my favorite video games, Kingdom Come: Deliverance 2. Did you figure it out? Feel free to pause the video and think through it. Now, let's input this problem into ChatGPT O1 model. To turn on the reasoning capability, make sure first you select the right model. GPT-4o is not a reasoning model. So let's pick O1 or O3. In this case, let's pick O1. As you can see here, O1 uses advanced reasoning. So first select the model. So make sure it's O1. And then let me paste the puzzle here. Send. Okay, as you can see, it is reasoning. We can figure this out using the principle of inclusion and exclusion. Okay, so here it defines some variables, and it shows very clear thinking process or reasoning process. So this is very good. Next, let me show you DeepSeek. All right, first, let's also turn on the thinking mode. Use DeepSeek R1 to solve reasoning problems. So let's check this and paste the same question. Send. Okay, so here is thinking. All right, so as you can see that DeepSeek is pretty verbose. Okay, let's see. So there is this problem about a bailiff who has 12 men joining up for service, blah, 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 basically repeating this question. All right, let me try to visualize this. This sounds like a classic inclusion-exclusion problem. The principle here is blah, blah, blah. And here there's some calculations. Therefore, wait, let me check if that makes sense. But let me go through it again step by step to make sure I didn't make any mistake. And so on and so forth. And here it shows the final solution. But everything here is the thinking process. And as you can see, it thought for 50 seconds. So it thinks before producing the final answer. Okay. Unlike ChatGPT o1 model, which just gives a concise summary of its reasoning, DeepSeek R1 model provides a full step-by-step breakdown, almost like an internal monologue, which I do often when I solve a problem. I speak to myself. It plans, revises, explores different approaches, validates before settling on an answer. And DeepSeek is making all of those public, so you can see this. Just imagine a student reading the thinking process. The student can learn from a large language model's thinking process, right? Because everything's here, not just the final answer. I think large language model can help our students practice problem-solving skills. So by analyzing AI's thought process, students can refine their own problem-solving strategies. But again, nothing replaces practice. Independent problem-solving is still the best way to build critical thinking skills. That's why I encourage my students to first come up with their solutions and compare it with the one generated by a large language model. Okay, let's go back to the slides. Next, searching. Every day we search a lot. So what is your favorite search engine? Google or Bing? Well, let me tell you my favorite. It is an AI search engine called Perplexity. Traditional search engines provide a list of links or web pages, requiring users to sift through multiple sources. So you need to click into that page to find the answer by yourself. On the other hand, AI-powered search engines take a different approach by generating direct answers, citing sources, and providing real-time updates. So here are some popular AI-powered search engines. My favorite is Perplexity AI. Google has AI overviews. ChatGPT has a search feature as well. So let me show you the difference between traditional search engine and an AI search engine. I know we're talking about learning. Learning a video game is also learning. So in this demo, first I will use Google to search the latest news about this video game, Kingdom Come Deliverance 2. So let's click Google Search. All right. So here are some top stories. 1 link, 2 links, 3 links, a bunch of links, right? So I still need to click into each page and find the latest news. And here I can click more links, right? Okay, let's try the same query in Perplexity. Same query, Kingdom Come Deliverance 2, latest news. And go. Okay, as you can see, Perplexity also shows me those links, but all of those are citations, the sources. And here is the answer. They are direct answers. Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 is set to receive a major update on March 13th, 2025, bringing significant changes and new features to the game. And here we have a citation, and here is another citation. Here are the key highlights. Patch 1.2, new features, upcoming content, and so on and so forth. And it also has real-time updates. So behind the scenes, Perplexity fetches the latest information from news websites, blogs, forums, and credible sources. Then it summarizes key insights using its AI-powered natural language processing. However, every time I use AI, I always recommend people to verify sources, especially for breaking news. Let's go back to the slides. Next, researching a topic. ChatGPT Deep Research is an advanced AI agent that can conduct complex, multi-step research tasks by browsing, analyzing, and synthesizing massive amounts of information from diverse online sources, including text, images, and PDFs. This process, which could typically take humans hours, is completed in 5 to 30 minutes. In simple terms, you can think of deep research as a combination of internet search and an AI reasoning model, like O1 or DeepSeek R1, making it more advanced than a typical AI query. So let's look at an example. Here, I want ChatGPT to analyze the competitive landscape of the EV market over the past 3 years, highlighting key trends, major players, and emerging technologies. Before you hit send, make sure you click Deep Research. Okay. Send. Instead of immediately generating a response, Deep Research asks clarifying questions to refine the scope, which makes perfect sense because each deep research would take 5 to 30 minutes. It is resource intensive, so it better clarifies all the requirements before going deep into research, right? So it's asking me, do you want a global analysis, or should we focus on a specific region, only focus on passenger EVs, or include commercial and industrial EVs, and so on and so forth. And here is my response. Paste. Okay, and send. Deep research then takes 5 to 30 minutes to process and deliver an in-depth structured report. And it's showing me the activity it is doing now. So it's finding all sources.
2,000 years later.
Okay, after 7 minutes and browsing 34 sources, and here are the sources. The deep global EV market analysis is done. And I really like the citations. So here I can use this citation to verify the claims. Okay, so here the market leaders, Tesla and BYD. Another great thing of deep research is it shows you the activities during the deep research. So here I'm gathering insights on global EV trends, focusing on those companies, examining shifts. I'm considering various global EV policies. So as you can see, this is really a multi-step task. Search, read, examining, piecing together, continue to search, and so on and so forth. And ChatGPT Deep Research is doing all of them by itself, autonomously, putting together insights. So by reading these activities, our students can also learn the researching process. And of course, they can quickly get the insight of this topic. Okay. This is pretty amazing. Let's go back to the slides. Next task is preparing for exams. Just like a teacher can use AI to generate exam questions, a student can leverage AI to prepare effectively for exams. So here is an example. Quiz me on cell biology concepts and adjust the difficulty based on my performance. So here ChatGPT starts with a medium difficulty question. If the student answers correctly, AI gradually increases difficulty. But if the student struggles, AI re-explains the concept and provides more practice on that topic. So this is a really great example of adaptive learning. AI can identify weak areas and tailor practice accordingly. In conclusion, we've covered a lot today, from how AI can assist educators in teaching to how students can use AI for learning more effectively. As we integrate AI into education, the goal is not to replace traditional learning and teaching methods, but to enhance them. The best way forward is to embrace AI strategically, leveraging its strength while ensuring that we, as educators and learners, remain in control. The future of education is not AI versus humans, it's AI and humans working together. It's something I call co-intelligence. Thank you for joining this workshop. I hope you leave today with new ideas on how to use AI effectively in both teaching and learning. See you in the next video.